Namo myoho renge kyo, namo myoho renge kyo, namo myoho renge kyo. Hello, friends. How are you today? I hope you're in good health and secure. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Whether it's just liking and subscribing, only takes a few seconds. It's a very bodhisattva act because it helps expand the Sangha, make it more available to more people. It's a bodhisattva act, so thank you for that. And those of you who are able to do more, buy ebooks. They're very helpful, as the reference book we're now working on is nearing total completion. There's an electronic version of it on threefoldlotus.com. Many of you have purchased a copy. Thank you so much. So there's ebooks, there's published printed books, the Mandala, of course, the free podcasts, and a lot of free information on threefoldlotus.com. Please avail yourself of that. Anything you need to support your practice, resolve any doubts, keep you focused and resolved on instantiating your Buddha-ness, yes? That's what we're all trying to do, and help one another. So thank you in that effort. Today, one of my favorite topics, Mandala, as opposed to, or not opposed to, but as a definitively different idea, concept than GoHonzon. They are not one and the same. So let's just go ahead and read from the entry in the book, and I'll extrapolate as I go. Mandala, from the Encyclopedia Britannica, a very authoritative source, right? Mandala, Sanskrit, circle. How many of you knew that? So a lot of language, especially ancient languages, are far more conceptual. When you think about English or even French, Spanish, the world languages, yes? English, I think, in my experience, I was raised French, I learned Spanish and English. Now, I don't know much German. It may be very, English derives a lot from Germanic languages. But English, as I've experienced it over my over 65 years of duration on this planet, has lots and lots of words that have no distinct purpose of their own other than to combine with other words to minutely describe or attempt to point to multiple facets of identification of things, whether the things be people or sensations and so on and so forth, right? It's this incredibly meticulous samsaric language. Whereas when you go back in history to thousands of years of language, there were fewer words, number one, and they were more of a dance about ideas and concepts. And so depending on the context of a sentence or even inflections, because a lot of them had vocal characteristics, not just words, but almost a song of sorts, right? They would have different implications in the concepts put together. It's fascinating. We don't speak that way. We don't even think that, because you think the way you speak, right? We don't even think that way anymore, which is what makes our study of Buddhism so fascinating, because we're constantly reminded to just drop our attachment to those little minute words to realize that what is being identified or pointed to or described is far more vast in its implications, in our experience, right? We confront this all the time. Mandala is such a word. Now, let's go on with the Britannica here. In Hindu, far pre-Buddhist, and Buddhist Tantrism, right? What is Tantrism, right? It's about a mental, it's very ritualistic in identifying in our physical activities a psychological, a mental component, which we're trying to reach, right? Tantrism, by its very nature, uses the physical world to transcend it, to not be attached to it, but to use it as a vehicle to enter the mind's arena. Now, that's very important to know that, because that's really more what the mandala word is about. You follow? So let's go on. Circle, in Hindu and Buddhist Tantrism, a symbolic diagram, a physical thing full of symbols, not actual, right? Don't look at the words. The symbolic diagram used in the performance of sacred rites and an instrument of meditation. All of that says the same thing. It's not about the scroll, the piece of paper, the sand painting. It's about transcending that physical symbolic item, physical thing, to penetrate the mind, the experience of the mind, the potential of the mind. Let's go on. The mandala is basically a representation of the universe, but not the universe solely as a physical thing. That's why it's a circle, right? Generally. But conceptually, right? We can't experience Andromeda, but from what we've discovered scientifically, we can make a mental image even of our own galaxy, and begin to mentally travel in that potential, yeah? A consecrated area that serves as receptacle for the gods and as a collection point of universal forces. I'll remind you, look up Shoten Zenjen in this book. Universal forces. The entire universe is a consecrated area, all of life, right? As a receptacle, a place for concepts of gods, deities, so on and so forth, right? This comes from Hinduism, so a plethora of those. Man, this description continues, the microcosm, right? A small replication of that entirety, by mentally entering the mandala and proceeding toward its center, is by analogy guided through the cosmic processes of disintegration and reintegration. Isn't this what we talk about all the time? Energy. What is everything in this universe, our consecrated area? How is it built? What is the fundamental truth of all phenomena? And how does it resolve itself? How does it dissolve, go away, enter extinction? It's a process, arising, abiding, decaying, dissolving. Everything works just as the universe does, on an immense scale, but also a personal scale, right? So there it is. That's Encyclopedia Britannica's definition of a mandala. It's kind of like a passport. A passport gains you leaving and entering, crossing borders, right? Without the passport, can't do it. But the passport isn't the experience of travel. Duh. The mandala is the mandala. It's a passport. So I continue in this definition. From this simple definition, it can be seen that the mandala of Nichiren is a specific representation of the entirety of life or universe. Hear me repeat this all the time. More specifically, this mandala, that scroll behind me, is the universe as defined and experienced in the teachings of the Lotus method. The Lotus Sutra describes the process of this universe and how you and I can instantiate our clarity of that experience moment to moment to moment to moment. Right? The method being Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Instantiating for ourselves individually Myoho Renge Kyo. The postulate of this mandala is that by focused and active meditation, as we've already learned, we can enact our very nature of the state of Buddha, as described more specifically in the Treasure Tower chapter of the Lotus Sutra. Right? You could read the Lotus Sutra with the idea entering the chapter that this is the method, this is the transmigration from earth, physical, right? Because everything is risen into the air, the apparition of the treasure tower, attended by Buddhas, offering us all potential manifest in that moment. This is the activity of using a mandala to penetrate the GoHonzon-mind, a clever association Nichiren identifies as the very story of the treasure tower. It's an internal mental discovery. According to Shakyamuni, always been there, right? Lifespan of the Tathagata chapter, by the way, yeah? Continuing, the mandala creates for our samsaric mind a portal, a way to transcend this physical wonderland of possessions and things to a mental location outside these worlds or realms of attachment, cravings, clinging, a paradigm shift of insight and understanding occurring in the mind. See GoHonzon. It's like a handshake or a passport. This altered perception, or more accurately, experience, is the mind state of Buddha, liberated from the clutter of anxieties, of attachments, etc. We will see in the GoHonzon portion that this destination in our sentient mind is the very transmigration referred to in Buddhist teachings, and that it is quite distinct from the scroll on which Nichiren created this, quote, picture of the universe, end quote, for contemplating the shift or ultimate portal, the Honzon, of perception in the sentient mind to experience Buddha-ness. See also attitude and intent. So that's it. Mandala. An incredibly essential tool of our practice to do what? Everything in our practice is about instantiating, awakening our innate Buddha-ness immediately. Not throughout multiple lifetimes, Hinduism, not by going to another place or changing our brain configuration, because it's already there. We're just awakening it, ourselves really, to it. The mandala is our precious tool, along with the daimoku and our resolve, those three. We can invoke Buddha-ness immediately. Trick is hanging on to it, yeah? So practice more and more. All right, that's it. May seem short, but another one that's packed full of significance, yeah? Mandala. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Once again, take a moment, if you will, to like and subscribe. It helps the algorithms of YouTube figure out that, yeah, there's value here. Let's show it to more people. It's Bodhisattva, right? Propagation. Take care of your health. It's a kindness, your first kindness to yourself. Is make sure that you're doing well, health in your body, so that you can train your mind. And it will trickle into your life in ways, more ways than you can recognize, but you'll recognize it. Sometimes quite starkly. Other times, very slow shifts that we're not used to analyzing, but we'll notice over time. It's amazing how this works. So have confidence, right? Use this channel, right? There's a video on the homepage of this channel on YouTube. Helps you, gives you some ideas on how to use the entire resource, not just this compendium of hundreds and hundreds of videos, because that could take forever to sift through. Plus, the titles aren't always helpful. So use the search. Threefoldlotus.com. Buttons with labels on them make it real easy to get to really core aspects of our practice. Yeah, downloadable documents. And of course, the ebooks, the books, the free podcasts. As many tools as I can give all of us to secure and create confidence in our practice. That's what the Sangha is for. All right? Take care of your health. Be kind to yourself. I will see you in the next one. What is the next? Mind. It's like we're stuck on a topic here. But yeah, let's see what the definition of mind is. There's lots of information on that in the sutras. We won't go way out in the weeds, but we'll cover the topic so that it makes sense, probably about the consciousnesses, because that's really the mind, isn't it? And I look forward to talking about that with you. In the meantime, hang on, keep your practice strong, savor it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.